was always the Jags.
Always the Jags.
It's always the Jags.
Always the Jags.
Welcome into Always the Jags, your podcast for everything Jacksonville, everything Jaguars, everything Duval. Guys, it's been such a long time since you could say Jaguars and an actual smile would come on your face, right? Like, it's been a minute. Let's just be real. It's been a minute. And after so many years of pain, again, not going to act like we just made the playoffs or won the Super Bowl or anything, but this team, I mean, I guess I'm weary, right? Because we say that this team feels different every time we start playing well. In 2017, we said it. 2022, 2023, we said it. Now it's 2025, and we're saying it again. But the in-between, like, you know, of the playing well is happening more and more frequent, right? Like, we were just saying it 22, 23, we were saying this team feels different and is playing well. And now here we are a year and a half later saying that this team looks different and is playing well. Well, I guess 2 years later from 2023. So let's break down the Jaguars win over the San Francisco 49ers, which I accurately predicted. It's funny, when I made my game picks for last week, someone in the comments was like, oh, I see that jersey, and that's why you got that terrible, terrible pick with the 49ers. Yeah, it doesn't look so terrible now, does it? It doesn't look so terrible now. You know, I'm sure he's great. He came back later and said, congrats on the win. And I was like, you know, yeah, fine. You know, tuck your tail between your legs, dog. But we got the win. And again, it was gritty. It was tough. It was hard-nosed. But we got the win over the 49ers. And when we had the chance to choke the game away, we didn't. When we had a chance to give them to let the 49ers come back in and win, we didn't. And every single turnover mattered. Every single defensive play, every single offensive touchdown, every single thing that we did mattered. You know what I mean? And, you know, honestly, this game felt like a reverse from the Bengals, but this time we were the Bengals, right? Because, like, in the Bengals game, like, the 49ers had a lot of opportunities to just take the lead and win, right? And I do think if the 49ers had taken the lead in this game at any point, I don't know if we would have won. I really don't, because I think it was that intense of a momentum game, especially with them being at home. And so by not allowing them to take the lead, we did what we needed to do to get the win. And the 49ers, they had a slew of drop passes. You know, Brock Purdy had a slew of misses. Same thing for us in the Bengals game. We had a slew of drop passes. And, like, I don't think we had a single drop pass in this game. I can't remember. But it felt like the Bengals capitalized on our mistakes when we beat them. And they beat us, but it felt like they were kind of punching above their weight class to beat us by capitalizing on our mistakes. And we did the same thing, except we were forcing those mistakes, right? We were forcing those interceptions and those things that led to turnovers that got us the ball and allowed us to, punch above our weight class a little bit, because most people would say the 49ers, I mean, Nick Bosa wasn't in the game, but most people say the 49ers are a pretty complete team. But I thought this was a great chance for us to catch them. And based upon the injuries, you know, I went ahead and said, I think we can catch them. So Liam Coen has come in and given us such an edge. And you can tell by his personality, and our entire team has taken it on. And you could tell just by his altercation with Robert Saleh, which normally I'm not for, you know, players fighting on the field and stuff like that. I'm a very docile person myself. But seeing Liam Coen threaten to get up in Robert Saleh's face, a guy that everybody in the press media and everybody commenting knows that, like, okay, if Liam Coen and Robert Saleh got in a fight, nobody's putting money on Liam Coen because Robert Saleh is jacked and huge, right? But the fact that Liam Coen was still getting up in his face for what he was saying about his sign stealing, I don't even know what he's talking about, right? But Liam Coen getting in his face, defending himself and his players having to hold him back from the other coach. Like, you never see other coaches get that fiery with each other. And I'm telling you, if if we win against the Chiefs, that might be why. Because, again, the mentality, the fierceness, and the fieriness that Liam Coen has, we've all adopted it. And that's become our team's MO. Liam Coen's fire has rubbed off on our defense especially and our offense, right? If you look at it kind of in the way that we're operating it, and they're just like, this is not a bully us, we're not going to take anything anymore. We're tired of just taking it. We're tired of just taking it. It's not going to happen anymore. And Liam Coen was proving that when he was willing to get up in the face of Robert Saleh, right? Because the 49ers have been a pristine franchise for a long time, class of the NFL, 7 Super Bowl rings. You know, they're not going to, I'm not going to say they're the Lakers of the NBA, of the NFL, but, you know, they're kind of up in that category. Maybe they're like the Celtics of the NFL. And Liam Coen, the Jaguars have always been the laughing stocks of the league for a long time. Jaguars are like the Wizards of the NBA. You know, like we're just that team. And then we come in and win, and you're accusing us of sign stealing after we went into your stadium and beat your team that was supposed to be Super Bowl contenders, and you're still talking crap? Oh, no. Liam Coen was not having it. And I love it. And I love it. I think that's the exact kind of it's a mindset that we haven't seen, and I'd love to see how well it works. Like the 49ers have a pretty solid run defense. You know, especially whenever you got Fred Warner, you're always gonna have a pretty solid run defense. Our defense didn't get a whole lot of stops. Like San Francisco's defense was forcing a lot of 3-and-outs for our offense. They were forcing stops. Our defense wasn't forcing stops. We were just kind of taking the ball away. And that's the difference between that is you can only take the ball away so much. You can only take the ball away so much, and some of those plays come down to luck, but it's not always. But eventually, you're not going to be able to take the ball away 3 times every single game. At some point, your defense has to get stops. Now, against the Texans, we got a lot of stops, a lot of 3-and-outs. We had some great turnovers, but we were forcing a lot of 3-and-outs. That's probably because our offensive line is absolute trash. Because I think where the Jaguars are at right now, we need to look ahead and build on, but also avoid the mistakes of 2017. And right now, the issue is not pass protection because Trevor has time. The issue is not the run game because the run game again is working. The only issue with the offense is the quarterback connecting with the wide receivers. And I still think Trevor is the guy. And I think if you don't want to be the next Blake Bortles, you just have to prove it by hitting these guys downfield. And he proved it a little bit in the game with that beautiful pass to Travis Hunter, and then it just went away. And at the beginning of the game, I thought Trevor was locked in. The first half, I was like, wow, he's playing super well. I would have felt even better if after that amazing Tootin run, we were able to go get a touchdown and make it like that would have just sucked all the wind out of the 49ers, right? If we had waited and got a touchdown and made it 21-6 instead of 17-6. But either way, I thought Trevor was locked in, and then something happened in the second half, and we didn't score on offense for the rest of the game. We didn't score a touchdown. I think we scored a couple of field goals. We scored a field goal, yeah, but it felt like we weren't able to do anything on offense, and it was kind of the same thing in the Bengals game. Trevor was locked in and playing well at the beginning, but what happened as the game went on? And we can't have that be a modicum of our season, where Trevor's like playing at the beginning of the season and then falls off towards the end. So let me know your thoughts. And never forget, it was always the Jazz.